I wish to make a few comments on the theatrical address by the Honorable Charan Das. Very theatrical, sir. And I'm advised that when you look at the theater, they are make-believes. They're far from the reality. And so, sir, I'm happy with your guidance that you gave just before you called me to speak. The fixing of these bank Bobby's roads, sir. 5 budgets, and all that we are hearing, it's being fixed, it's being fixed. Nothing to shout and be proud of. Severance pay meant to sugar workers. What was due to them, sir? They didn't ask for severance, they were terminated. The laws of this country require that if you terminate them, you pay them and pay them instantaneously. Nothing to shout about from the other side, sir. Months and even the engagement of the courts to cause those people to get their severance pay. That's their entitlement. They earn it. It's not handout. Yes, sir. Then we building roads like glass, sir. Very dangerous for this country. Glass surface roads, sir. That would be accident prone. Nothing to be proud of, you know. Sir, we talked about money. We talked about the Bobby's Bridge. Yes, sir, these are some of the theatrical aspects that I'm responding to, Mr. Harman. Yes, sir. Talking about the government taking hold of the Bobby's River Bridge, lauding that initiative. Sir, Budget 2019 has not provided 1 cent to support that decision of the government. So we're wondering where the money will come from. Maybe Mr. Charan Das will go around to the business community. And then we talk about cheap electricity, sir. It is not the opposition that closed the Skeldon Sugar Factory, which housed the cogeneration plant, sir. Sir, it was that and the misinformed people that was providing electricity to, sir, to the national grid. So that is what the cogeneration was doing. They need to check their facts. Sir, now for the theater finish, let's get to reality, sir. As I continue with my contribution to Budget 2019, sir, the 5th budget of the APNU. Sir, I can summarize all that I have to say in this one statement, that Budget 2019 is an extremely disappointing budget. This budget in itself, sir, is denude of any significant measures that can restore the good life that the Guyanese population enjoyed before May 2015. Much less to enhance anybody's lives. You know, and we come up here with a whole host of rhetoric, sir. We have robbed this nation of the peace, joy, happiness, and comfort they enjoyed before May 2015. And we come here with forked tongue, sir. Sir, budget presentation, budget preparation is a tedious task. And maybe it is for that reason that the Honorable Minister of Finance caused so much embarrassment to the hard-working staff of the Ministry of Finance by giving, sorry, sir. Why I said APNU, sir? Because according to the Honorable Minister Walter Lawrence, you can't have a job unless you're APNU, PNC. So that's why I don't see the AFC as being part of the system. Government job rather, sir. Sir, the good life found itself again in Budget 2019. That's the good life. But sir, that good life continues to be elusive to more than 95% of the population in this country, sir. Apparently, the only place that good life exists are in the pages of the 3 volumes of Budget 2019. Sir, instead of us hearing from the Honorable Minister of Finance the reduction of taxes on which forms a heavy burden on the back of the taxpayers in our country and the populace generally. We haven't heard anything about that, sir. So if you're not reducing the tax burden on people, sir, then the expendable income, sir, will not increase. And so there's no good life with that, sir. Expectation with regards to the reduction of cost of living, all those were dashed to the ground, sir. Nothing to say to this nation that the cost of living will decrease and so people can have a better life. Sir, Budget 2019 contains some wages and salaries increases. These inadequate and unacceptable increases, sir, have drawn reactions from the public at large, more particularly, sir, the public servants and the unions representing the public servants. The teachers' union still cannot get an agreement that will satisfy the teachers in this country. The university workers and their unions have all responded very negatively to Budget 2019. So the sugar workers have demonstrated against the non-inclusion of any increase in Budget 2019, a constant that would have been in Budget 1, Budget 2, Budget 3, Budget 4, and now Budget 5 of the CP and UFC government. No increase to sugar workers. How can we talk about good life? How can we talk about a budget that should be supported? How can we stand up and say that when people get severance, they ought to be happy when you took away their jobs? Sir, Budget 2019 has not addressed the sad state of affairs of shortages of drugs and medical supplies across the 10 regions of Guyana. It has not. And, sir, that approximately $10 billion that was allocated to the 10 regions for public health care, sir, which is expected to cater for more than 92% of the Guyanese population, sir. That allocation is less than what we would have given to some agency, sir. Take, for example, the Guyana Defense Force. The allocation that was given to health across these 10 regions, sir, is less than that. And so, sir, I haven't heard anything in Budget 2019 or read anything in Budget 2019 that will seek to correct, that will seek to erase the corrupt practices and systematic failures in the procurement, distribution, and dispensation of drugs and medical supplies, sir. And we're talking about making people happy when the public health care system is crumbling and it is eating into the pockets of the small man and woman out there to provide health care for themselves and their families. Sir, no wonder the private health care system is thriving. It is thriving because of the crumbling of the public health care system. Sir, the budgets for the 10 regions would have provided $24.9 billion for the education sector in the 10 regions. Sir, that allocation of $24.9 billion is required to meet the wages and salaries of all teachers across these 10 regions. Provide for their traveling, the other benefits and allowances, and to meet maintenance and materials costs for education delivery in the 10 regions. $24.9 billion, sir. Don't wonder a number of our schools are in dire need of repairs. Sanitary blocks are no longer functioning. The plumbing is a sad bit of affairs, so much so that students are now forced to walk with their water bottles, sir, to school. Sir, all this, how will, I haven't heard yet, how we will deal with the rising or the increase in absenteeism, in delinquency, in truancy within the education system. We haven't heard how we're going to deal with those stories. So the economic situation is forcing more students to opt out of school, forcing parents to make choices and prioritizing as who should benefit from a full education as against who shouldn't within that family. The Honorable Minister, sir, in his budget presentation, mentioned the local government elections held in 2018, the results for which is known, sir, and which certainly, as I said in the 2017 presentation, would have been somewhat embarrassing to the government side. This time it is more than embarrassing, and we're holding on to straws, sir, as drowning men would do. All right, whatever I said, you get your chance to put that in context. What should be very worrying, sir, for the very person who attempted to heckle, sir, is the statement made by the Chief Elections Officer after the conclusion of the 2018 local government election. And that statement, sir, was that the Ministry of Communities cannot extricate itself from the full blame for the low voter turnout. They failed miserably, sir, in the public awareness system. So the minister must talk about that. You carried out yours, that's the reason why you got 38%. Yes, sir. Sir, I am hoping that the allocation in budget 2019 to the Guyana Elections Commission will see, as they move to the house-to-house registration, sir, will include additional biometrics so that we can have a voters list, a national register that is current, sir, and that can be credible and acceptable to this nation.
Not like the one he did in Region 9.
The Minister of Finance, sir, stated that over $1 billion was set aside for fiscal transfers to the 80 local authority areas. Sir, the first thing is that what mechanism is being used by the Ministry of Communities to disburse allocations in the budget under the head subvention to the local authority areas are not known, sir. We in this House, we passed the fiscal transfers legislation. It was assented to. Sir, what I am told is that the Ministry of Communities has ignored the three variables, that is geographical mass, population density, and the rate of collection, which are weighted in such a way to give you 100%. The ministry has ignored the law and is dispensing subventions to local authority areas in a manner that is discriminatory. And so, sir, I'm hoping that the minister will give us some guidance. I am still looking to, sir, because when I looked at that project code, 190290 in the budget, I am not seeing that $1 billion under subvention. I'm seeing $602 million. Maybe the Honorable Minister can help us to identify where the additional subvention is stated.
Honourable Member, you have 5 minutes remaining.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, what is happening across local government in our country, sir, is really, really sad. The Local Government Commission is in place, yet the Ministry of Communities, through its various local government departments in the 10 administrative regions, continue to manipulate local government practitioners, particularly overseers and town clerks, using all sorts of threats, using all sorts of machinations to undermine elected councils, sir. And we are hearing about giving more autonomy, and making these local authority areas independent, so to speak, of regional and central government. But, sir, what is happening on the ground is that these tin gods, so to speak, we call the regional executive officers, they continue to manipulate the budgets and the fulfilling of the budgets of the local authority areas. So apart from that, this government seems not to have a strong liking for what is called proper consultation. So what is happening is that you have the same project that has been identified by the local authority area is also identified by the RDC and in some instances funded by central ministry. So you have lots of overlapping, lots of wastage of resources due to lack of consultation and meaningful consultation too, sir. Sir, I've heard speakers talking about this government is non-discriminatory and is not bothered about who support who or who voted for who. Sir, the reality on the ground is certainly different from those statements, because on the ground there is this heavy uneasiness due to discriminatory practices by the regional authorities, all 10.
2 minutes remaining, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, additionally, and I trust that the Auditor General will help us to find out, we're told that the allocations to some regional authorities, that the allocations are moved from one line item to another without proper consultation, without proper approval, and that expenditures of monies voted in this National Assembly are spent on projects that were not approved by this National Assembly. So we are hoping that the Auditor General will help us to look into those concerns as are being expressed by members of the respective regions and local authorities. Sir, as we get closer to the year 2019, we are hoping that the Ministry of Communities will make the subventions available to the 80 local authority areas in a timely manner, and that the projects that were submitted by the local authority areas will not be changed, will not be substituted by the regional executive officers and their respective teams. Sir, I in concluding, wish to support my colleagues who would have spoken before, and that is to say, I cannot support Budget 2019 the way it is presented, sir. Thank you.